Hi everybody. Right, today I'm going to show you how to get the best out of the auction house. Now, you always get told that it depends on which server you play on, so what I'm going to do is tell you how to analyse your own server. Now, the first thing you want to do is you want to go to a website called WoW and I've got it saved. So you go to wowauction.com. You need to log in and you go to resources and then data export. Now what this does is it exports all the data specific to your server, which is important. So you go into data export, it brings this up. You can see I've selected my server and you get the comma delimited the CSV file for your server. You don't need to save it. You can save it if you want to use later on, but I just open it. So you can now see that it's open. Oh. So what this does is it tells you all of the different things on your realm. You can see there's the realm there, and here's the items. So I'll get rid of all this stuff to free up some space. Now the important things are how much is currently on the auction house, the market price. This one is in coppers, this one is in gold, the minimum price, and the 14-day medium, and the 14-day, that's the projected market price. I don't tend to use this one in particular. I keep it as a reference, but I don't actually use it. And the standard deviation I don't use at all. Right, so what you do is the first thing you do is you add a new column in, and this is going to be your total profit. And the way this works is you set it so that it looks at the market price, so it takes the minimum price and then you add that to the market price. Sorry, I should have done that the other way around. Just for the sake of it, you take the market price, you add the minimum price, and then you add the projected price. Now you want to take the average of them, so you divide it by 3. Oh, my bad. And then you want to multiply the average of those prices by how much is sold in a day. So it should be the L column. I'll just double check that in a minute. Let's see that. So it is E, F and H, which is 10,000 by 10,000 by 600, and it's multiplied by this, which is how much you have sold. Right, so to go back to it, let's look. Right, so let's say the estimated daily sold was 1, right? We'll change this back, it's just to make sure that it works. And you put 5 in here, 5 in here, and you put 5 in here. So the average should be 5 and the estimated sold is 1. So your total profit, if you were to sell every single item of that one on the auction house that sells per day, your total profit would be 5 gold. So let's undo those changes and we'll go back. And now what you do is you copy this down for every single item. There's about 7,000 items, but we're not going to look at all 7,000. So just bear with me. Oh, there's a lot more than 7,000 here. Right, so you've copied that formula all the way down. The next thing you want is the current demand. So you've got your estimated demand here, which is basically the estimated daily sold divided by the average posted. Right, so if you do that, you can see that your estimated demand is this divided by that, but I've changed that. Oh shit, I need to go back and fix that. Fuck it, I'll just leave this one out. So what we want to find out is the current demand, which is how much is sold divided by how much is actually on the auction house right now. Now, if there's anything that's not on the auction house, it'll throw up an error. And we could take those errors away, but to be honest, if it's not on the auction house right now, I have no interest in it, so I'm just going to ignore it. Okay, so now what you do is you put a filter in across the top, and the way you want to filter this is your total profit. Now you can see that Savage Bloods are at the top there. The reason Savage Bloods are at the top is because there is 730 sold per day, and the average price is around 250 gold. So if you were to sell all of the Savage Bloods on your server, then your total profit would be 180,000 gold in one day. Now the chances of you being able to do that is slim, but at least it shows you what sells the most and what sells the most at a good price. So the next thing to talk about is the demand. So the estimated demand, you can see there, that's about half. So 700 sell in a day, but 1500 get posted. Now you can see that the current demand is 1.6, so that's a high demand, and it's a lot higher than the estimated. So what that means is that 700 actually sell every day, but you can see that there's only 444 on the auction house. Now 9 times out of 10, there's always going to be less currently on the auction house than is posted per day, because it's just a snapshot. So especially with things like raw materials like sumptuous fur, you can see that there's 23,000 in the auction house. There's actually 43,000 get posted every day. So going back to this, the total profit, you want to take away pretty much, well, I take away anything that is greater than or equal to 20,000, because if it's not going to make you 20,000 gold, then I'm not interested in it. Now the next thing you want is things that sell more than, I would say, 1 or 5. It just depends if you're planning on farming something. So let's just filter this and make it greater than or equal to 5 to start with. So that's really shortened your list down. So these are things that sell more than 5 per day and are also sorted by profit. So then what you can start doing is you go, right, Savage Blood. Can I make Savage Bloods? Well, yes I can, and the reason I can is because I've got alchemy and I can transmute it. Hexweave bags is your next one. Can I make them? Yes I can, because I've got tailoring. And if we take a quick look at the hexweave bags, we can see that on my server 32 hexweave bags get sold every day. There's usually 86 posted. There's currently only 26 on the auction house, so there's a pretty good shout that I could sell a couple of bags if I had them. So that's maybe something I'd want to start farming for. Now this is only the beginning. This is to make you look at how can I make money, what sells on my server. And once you start finding out how to make the money by which things on your server sell, you then can start thinking, how do I make hexweave bags? What's the cheapest way of me making those bags? One of the things I found is that Sorcerer's Earths sell quite well on my server. You can see 800 sell per day on my server. Now something that's not as good, you can see the price of the, where is it? The price of Sorcerer's Fire's at 34. It was actually less than that earlier on. It was down about 27 gold. So I bought 40 Sorcerer's Fire at 27 gold. And I used my alchemy. So you would just, yeah, again, you put yes, your alchemy. And I managed to transmute those to Sorcerer's Earth. Now at the time I was doing it, I know it looks as if you're not going to make a lot of gold, but earlier these were up at 49 gold each, and I was transmuting Sorcerer's Fire from 27 gold and selling them at 48 gold, and I must have sold around about 40 or 50 of them, and I made about, I think it was about 140 gold profit, maybe slightly more than that. But that's taken into account everything that sells more than 5. We can change this and we can change it to 1. Now this is giving you things that don't sell quite as much. You can see the universal language module, we're only selling 2, maybe 3 per day, but the price of them are a lot higher. They're going for 40k on my server. Now it'd be quite hard for me to farm them. I don't find it appealing. So the chances of me going and trying to look to make money off that is pretty slim, because they don't sell very often and I'd be lucky to actually get them. Violet Sands is the same. I can't actually make that, so I wouldn't go out my way to do it. Sumptuous Fur on the other hand, I might try and farm some Sumptuous Fur because I know a good spot for farming it. The only downside is that my Warlock has tailoring and my Warlock's not actually level 100 yet, so I would really need to be taking the Warlock and leveling him to 100 so that I could farm as quick as possible, and the tailoring would give extra drops. So the other thing worth looking at is, when you're looking at these, the current demand is always worth looking at, and if you can find one that's less than 0.3, 0.2, let's just sort these smallest to largest. So something like this, Pandaren Treasure Noodle Cart, there is no point in me actually getting involved in this market. Now although there's, according to this, 73,000 gold per day could be made, the daily sold is just 1, and there's too many posted, there's 19, so you've got 20 different people pretty much in competition for that one sale. So the, oh sorry, it's the what's currently on the auction house. So the current demand is 17 people jostling for that one sale, and it becomes a flooded market, and there's no point in getting involved in it. The same with these powerful hex weave essence. I could do those if I wanted to, but at the same token, there's 6 in the auction house just now, only 1 sells, so there's no, unless I know someone in trade that's willing to buy one of those, I'm not going to bother listing it on the auction house, because the chances of me selling that when there's 6 other people probably reposting all the time to get the sale makes it difficult. So that's how I go about finding what sells best. Let's just change it back to largest, and we'll change this to say 3. So those are my top 3 sellers that I would be looking at. Now I actually have enchanting on all of my alts. I've got a small enchanting building on all of my alts, and I try and get as many crystals as I can. I've always got dust, and I'm always trying to make crystals. I've not looked too heavily into the mechanics behind it to make sure that I'm actually making money, but one of the other things that sells really well on my server is Mark of the Bleeding Hollow. Now you can see there's only 29 in the auction house just now, and there's 18 get sold every day, so it's actually no too bad for the current demand. Again, it would be a bit of a struggle, and I know that every server's different, and people who take enchanting do tend to fight quite hard, not quite as hard as the glyph market, but quite hard. So you might not have the time, or you might not want to get involved in that, but for me that's something worthwhile. It's worth trying to make the money. Temporal crystals, it just comes down to working at the maths. Are you better off just selling the crystals when you're selling potentially 600 crystals a day, or are you better trying to make the Mark of the Bleeding Hollow, Mark of the Warsong, Mark of the Thunderlord, and then trying to sell these instead? But that's for you to find out. I'm just here to show you which things you should be looking at and how to sort the data. I mean, if you want to take it the entire opposite way, and this is something I've not really looked at yet, but if you take it to you only want to see what sells less than 2 per day, these are going to be all your things that are pretty rare, and you'll be lucky to get, like Rains of Poseidus. The chances of me coming across something like that or getting it cheap in trade is pretty hard right now. So that I'm not going to look at something like that. Ever Burning Candle. It's no gonna. I'd be lucky. These are all your lucky sellers, as far as I'm concerned. These are all the ones that I wouldn't recommend for my server. People should not be trying to sell stuff like this. But if you can get a drop, then obviously it's gonna make you a lot of money. So I hope you've enjoyed looking at my spreadsheets and learning how to do it. I hope this helps everybody. I'll link the website in the video, and hopefully everybody can make some extra gold from this video. Thanks very much.